Hare Krishna, Suvinaya Nityananda Prabhu, can you hear us? Ravilochana Prabhu, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, I can hear you.
Okay.
Suvinaya Prabhu?
He is muted, so
I'll give him a call, Prabhu.
sure. Hare Krishna, Suvinaya Nityananda Prabhu, able to hear us? Oh, okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Suvinaya Nityananda Prabhu, can you unmute yourself? We can't hear you. Suvinaya Nityananda Prabhu, we are not able to hear you. Please unmute. Can you speak now, Prabhu? Hare Krishna, Suvinaya Nityananda Prabhu. We are not able to hear you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna devotees, a few minutes, let him join back.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Namaskar.
Dandavat, Prabhu. Sorry. You can hear us now?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Some
Okay.
problem with microphone. Just restarted.
Okay. Are you ready? Can we start?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna devotees, we are very, very fortunate to have His Grace Suvinaya Nityananda Prabhu here today to enlighten us from Srimad Bhagavatam. So over to you, Prabhu. You can start.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I will share my screen.
You are able to share?
Yeah, I think so. You can see, Prabhu.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Start with the recitation. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Sadati Swaprakitam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Patakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamcha Cha Shri Rupam Shakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Shadvaitam Shavadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganalita Shri Vishakanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rushabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hripriye Pancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patidanam Pavarimbhyo Vaishnavembhyo Namo Namaha Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam namaskrutyam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam tato jayamudire nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke tirpavati naishtuki mukam karoti vachalam angur langayate girim yatkrapatamaham vande shri gurum dinatarinam paramanandamadavam shri chaitanya manobhistinam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Even though I'm not qualified to speak on Bhagavatam, thanks to ICC management for providing me the opportunity. This is, I consider myself to speak on Bhagavatam for purification of myself. If any mistake happens, please forgive me. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. So today we will be discussing on verses chapter 4, 26.14 and 15. We will see the verses. Okay. 4.26.14. Antapura striya aparechat vimana iva vedisat apiva kushalam ramaha sa ishwaram yata puraha. Translation. At that time, King Puranjana was little anxious, and he inquired from household women, "My dear beautiful woman, are you and your mistress all very happy like before or not?" We'll read the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the word Vedisat indicates King Prachina Barhi. When a man becomes refreshed by association with devotees and awakens to Krishna consciousness, he consults the activity of his mind, namely thinking, feeling, and willing. And he decides whether he should return to his material activities or stay steady in spiritual consciousness. The word Kushalam refers to that which is auspicious. One can make his home perfectly auspicious when he engages in devotional service to Lord Vishnu. When one is engaged in activities other than Vishnu Bhakti, or in other words, when he is engaged in material activities, he is always filled with anxieties. A sane man should consult his mind, its thinking, its feeling, and its willing processes, and decide how these processes should be utilized. If one always thinks of Krishna, feels how to serve him, and wills to execute the order of Krishna, it should be known that he has taken good instruction from his intelligence, which is called mother. Although the king was refreshed, he nonetheless inquired about his wife. Thus, he was consulting, thinking, and willing how he could return to his good, steady, good consciousness. The mind may suggested that by Vishaya Bhoga, sense enjoyment, one can become happy. But when one becomes advanced in Krishna consciousness, he does not derive happiness from material activities. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 2.59. Vishaya vinivartante nirarhyasa dehinan rasa varjam raso apiyasi asya param drishtva nivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. One cannot be unattached to sense object unless he finds better engagement in devotional service. Param drishtva nivartate. One can cease from material activities only when one engages in devotional service. Moshtapadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Satsvati Devi Gauravan Nirvisheshvara Pascha Dhyanate Varandastu Dhyananjana. Little bit background. We know King Barishit, Pravachari Barihi, was doing sacrificial yajnas. Narada Muni comes and asks him what's the benefit of these yajnas. And Prachina Barahi, who is the father of Prachetas, then realizes and asks Narada Muni, give me the superior knowledge. And then Narada Muni gives this allegory of Puranjana. Puranjana is nothing but Prachina Barahi himself. So, in previous shlokas, we have learned in this chapter that Puranjana went to forest and killed various animals mercilessly, and then becomes thirsty and hungry and gets the water and good food, and then gets himself refreshed, wears the ornaments, dresses himself very nicely, and then he searches for his wife. So that is the background. So with this, he reaches Antapura. Antapura is a place where in previous Vedic life or kingly life, there is a separate quarters for women. It's not that like in our modern times, women and men were staying together. Women were staying in a place or in a separate quarter called Antapura, where all the queens of the kings resided. So searching for the queen, King Puranjana comes to Antapura and he finds the maid servants, women there. And he inquires from those women, are you and your mistress, that is the women are dasis, and the master of dasis is a queen. So are you and your queen very happy like before, or they're not happy? So here, so all this allegory is having Puranjana's activity on one side, which is described by the shlokas, and there is spiritual significance for each of the activities. So there are two activities mentioned in this particular verse. So first activity is Puranjana saw household women. So what is the spiritual significance of the seeing household women? The household women significance is the women are actions of Antakarana in their previous condition, inclined to dharma. They suddenly appeared. What does that mean? That means here, woman is Antakarana, actions of Antakarana. The spiritual significance. The women who were there in, who met Puranjana in Antapura are actually actions of Antakarana in the previous condition inclined to dharma. So Puranjana goes to this forest to hunt animals. So these are a heinous, it is described in previous shlokas. It was merciful people became not tolerated. Means merciful became very painful seeing the animals killed. But Puranjana went on killing rabbits, hogs, tiger, lion, whatever animal he saw, he went on killing. So that's compared to sense gratification. But once he comes back, refreshes himself. Once he takes a good food, offered food, not animal flesh, forbidden food. Once he gets refreshed, that is when he is thirsty and hungry, once he gets pure water. So his consciousness came back. Hey, I was doing a heinous activity. Now it comes to, hey, the consciousness know that the heinous activity was wrong, and we need to do right activity. And that is why women appear. So that means Antakarana. Antakarana means those activities or actions that are favorable to Krishna consciousness. Okay, so there came alive And Antakarana always is favorable to dharma, dharmic actions. And they suddenly appeared. So they are pushing him towards dharma. So wife is compared here, Puranjana's wife is compared to dharma, the intelligence, which steers towards dharmic activity. So the Antakarana, the actions that push towards dharma, performing dharmic activities, are compared to women here. They suddenly come and appear before Puranjana, and Puranjana started inquiring, are you and your mistress are happy? That means you means here the maid servants compared to the Antakarana, the actions of Antakarana, and also the woman, the mistress, the intelligence who steers towards dharma are happy. And ask them, are they happy? So he considered, if actions of my intelligence remain steady, they can deliver me by destroying my present impression. Thus he asked how they are. That means once he takes the shelter of his wife, wife is again compared to dharma, the intelligence which steers to dharma. So once he takes the intelligence which is favorable to dharma, then he is for sure knows, oh, I cannot go back to my impressions of previous sins. So he got, even though he was very attracted to his wife, but he willfully got attracted towards hunting. He got that attraction and went towards hunting, even though his wife, he never leaves his wife normally, but he got attracted to hunting. The passion of hunting triggered him to go on hunting. And then after hunting, he came to realize he got thirsty, he got hungry, and he got very tired and came back, got refreshed. And then his intelligence became steady, and then he talks about searching, coming back to dharmic life. So Prabhupada is explaining in the purport clearly here. So once man becomes realized, hey, this sinful life, I'm living a sinful life, then he should steer his activities towards dharma. So here he is told one can make his home perfectly auspicious when he engages in devotional service to Lord Vishnu. One is engaged in activities other than Vishnu Bhakti, or when he's engaged in material activities, he's filled with anxieties. That is what Puranjana was fully anxious when he was in hunting mode. But once he came back from that hunting mode, then he started, hey, I'm refreshed now. So once he's refreshed, he can again go to sense gratification or again go to back to his spiritual path. Here, Puranjana chose the spiritual path. He did not choose the material path. For a jiva, you have two things, options. The only option what we have, we can get in shelter of Mahamaya or engage in material activities, thus enjoy our senses, or we can be under shelter of, or we can seek the shelter of Yogamaya, where that will help to connect us back to our original consciousness or Krishna. So after being refreshed, that means after being coming here, literally you can take coming back from hunting is tired and then he takes good food and then gets refreshed. And here after hearing firm instructions from good followers of Vishnu or saintly persons, you get refreshed. Okay, then you have a choice to go back to the path or to go to the path of spiritual consciousness or to go into material consciousness. So if Prabhupada is explaining here, if one goes back to spiritual path, then you will progress in spiritual path and reach Krishna. If you don't progress, but you choose material world, again you will fall into this Jiva Chakra or Kala Chakra of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So something Prabhupada is talking about the mind. So what Prabhupada is telling us, a sane man, if you can read here, a sane man should consult his mind, its thinking, feeling, and willing processes, and decide how these processes should be utilized. Mind, as you know, is a warehouse of desires. All the desires what we have, a small desire to a very, very big desire, is kept in the mind. And this mind is part of subtle body. This does not get actually destroyed when we change the physical gross bodies. The mind carries on, because all the desires that you obtain going through this, all the bodies are stored there. It's like a hard disk, permanent hard disk that will never get eliminated. The data get never deleted. So once you have a desire, that gets registered in the mind. So it's very important to see what is mind thinking, what is mind feeling, what is mind willing. Very important to acknowledge that. Then you will see, hey, mind is thinking this particular, hey, mind wants to enjoy a nice cinema, for example. You will feel that, hey, mind wants now the cinema. A new cinema has been released and we have to see. So that is what mind is thinking. And it's feeling, I'll go to a cinema, enjoy that cinema, where some actors are displaying the action. And now willing, so because I have to go for a cinema, I'll take one of my friend along, spend some money, get the ticket, go. So see how thinking, feeling, and willing process of the mind. If one observes just from outside, you will see that thinking, feeling, and willing of the mind. Since you're refreshed now, you're heard from saintly person, now that is fresh in your mind, in your consciousness, then you think, hey, mind, don't think, feel, and will these material things. Think, feel, and will the spiritual things. So that is what Prabhupada has told here. So you should put, hey, mind, think of Krishna, feel how to serve for him, and will to execute the order of Krishna. So you should be an outside observer. Observe the mind, what is thinking, willing, and feeling. Then put this, because you're refreshed, heard from saintly person, that power is there with you. Fill that mind with this desire. What desire we should fill? We should always think of mind, think of always Krishna. Mind, feel the service of Krishna and execute the order of Krishna. Put those desires. Once you put those desires, right, automatically the old desires that are residing from millions and millions of years start to dissolve themselves. Those desires will get dissolved. So Puranjana, when he comes back from hunting, that means comes back from his material activity, sense gratification, he refreshes. Refreshes means he hears from good sadhus and devotees, and then fills his mind with the actions that are favorable to Krishna consciousness. So Rupa Goswami says, Krishnanushilanam means favorable action in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada also tells here, there should be action. That is not just a meditation. There should be action. So action is very important. It's explained in the next verse. When I come to next verse, we can explain. Okay, so mind is a warehouse that desires, Vishaya Bhoga, sense enjoyment. So, but once you get refreshed, hearing from saintly persons, reading Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, you get refreshed. And then you should observe your mind, what is thinking, feeling, and willing, and push this Krishna conscious thing. Hey, I should serve Krishna. I should actually execute the orders of Krishna. I should think about Krishna. Put those desires, automatically mind will get back into spiritual desires, and the material desires that are there in the mind start to dissolve or disappear. That is what Puranjana does. Once you get refreshed, where's the ornament? Ornament of hearing from sadhus. He comes and inquires, where is my intelligence that will help me in progressing my spiritual path. That is what. So where is my intelligence? That's the question. To show where the intelligence is, you require maid servants. These maid servants are the actions that you want to see, you want to follow the dharmic principles. So these maid servants guide you. Hey, this is where your intelligence is. The intelligence is wife here, Puranjana's wife. Intelligence that will steer in path of Krishna's consciousness, this wife. Next. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.26.15. Na tata etra hi rochante gruheshu griha sampada yati na syad grihe mata patni va pati devata vyenge rathe iva pranja kaha nama asita dinavat. Translation. King Puranjana said, I do not understand why my household paraphernalia does not attract me as before. I think that if there is neither a mother nor a devoted wife at home, the home is like a chariot without wheels. Where is the fool who will sit down on such an unworkable chariot? We'll read the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The great politician Chanakya Pandita said, Mata yasya grihe nasti bharyaya cha priyavadin arayam tena ghantvayam yatarnam tata griham. If a person has neither a mother nor a pleasing wife at home, he should leave home and go to forest. Because for him, there is no difference between forest and home. The real Mata or mother is devotional service to the Lord, and real Patni or devoted wife is a wife who helps her husband execute religious principles in devotional service. These are the two things required for happy home. Actually, the woman is supposed to be energy of man. Historically, in the background of every great man, there is either a mother or a wife. One's household life is very successful if he has both good wife and mother. In such a case, everything about household affairs and all the paraphernalia in the house becomes very pleasing. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had good mother and pleasing wife. He was very happy at home. Nonetheless, for the benefit of the whole human race, he took sannyasa and left both his mother and wife. In other words, it is essential that one have good mother and wife in order to become perfectly happy at home. Otherwise, home life has no meaning. Unless one is religiously guided by intelligence and renders devotional service unto Supreme Personality Godhead, his home can never become very pleasing to a saintly person. In other words, if a man has a good wife and a good mother, there is no need of taking sannyasa. That is, unless it is absolutely necessary, as it was for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Again, we'll go back to the Puranjana's activity and spiritual significance. Now the wealth of the house no more attracts me. If there is no mother or wife in the house, what a learned man would remain there. So this the activity is Puranjana is seeking out for the wife. And he says, if there is no wife or mother in the house, then he compares to a chariot without two wheels. Then only a fool will get on the chariot, because chariot never moves there. From there, it will remain in that place. So here it's telling the forbidden objects no longer give me pleasure. These are the activities, the material activities, which earlier gave him pleasure. That means the hunting, Puranjana went, leaving his wife in the palace. So that now he went out hunting because he had passion. He thought that it will give him pleasure. But now those forbidden objects like hunting, like any sense gratification activity is not giving pleasure for him anymore. Here, mother is compared to Bhakti, to Vishnu, and wife is the intelligence endowed with dharma, the intelligence which steers him towards the dharmic activities, towards Bhakti. So, Prabhupada here is quoting the verse from Chanakya Pandit, where Chanakya Pandit is stating, in a home, for a person to progress, you should have two persons, Mata and the Patni. How these Mata and Patni should be is, Mata is compared to devotional service to Lord Vishnu. Patni is compared to intelligence who will guide in Dharma. So if both are not there, then it is as good as a forest, the house. So the person should immediately leave to the forest if these two persons are not there. Okay, that means if two persons are not there, they may be physically present, but they are not helping anybody or the man to progress in spiritual path, then there is no use. So the responsibility of the jiva is to not continuously remain in the mode of sense gratification. The moment the jiva gets a chance to hear the good words from saintly people, the purpose of life from saintly people, the Atma and the Deha difference from the saintly people, the instructions from the saintly people, the jiva should get refreshed. Refreshed means all the while from millions and millions of the births, we are toiling in this, the jiva is toiling in this material world. It will be so tired. And in this human life, if one gets a chance to hear from the Guru or the spiritual people or the devotees of the Lord, then immediately a kind of Shakti comes. That means the energy comes and the jiva becomes lively, and becomes refreshes. And now with this refreshed energy, the energy that comes, the jiva should not go back to the attraction of sense objects, should not fall, but instead should take the spiritual course. And who can steer is this Mata and Patni. Mata is devotional service herself, and Patni is who steers. So very important to understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had Vishnu Priya, Lakshmi Priya, very good wives, and Sachi Mata, very good mother. And he was very happy. His Grihastha life was very, very happy. His childhood life was very happy. He was always made by his parents, especially his mother, to be always in Krishna consciousness, taught the devotional service activities. And once married also, Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya also were telling Mahaprabhu, not troubling, hey, I want this, I want this. No, dharmic activities are important. Served as very intelligent people. Mahaprabhu, hence, Prabhupada explaining, is very, very happy. But here, some may question, then why Mahaprabhu took sannyas? That is what Prabhupada is answering here clearly. Mahaprabhu took sannyas to deliver the whole world. So if you have such a great cause, then taking sannyas is acceptable. You are compassionate towards the souls who are suffering in this material world, and then take up the mission to deliver, preach those, then, well, you have a right reason to deliver and to them and take sannyas by consulting the spiritual master, of course. But if you are not having such great goals, if you have a good wife and good mother at home, then it is a right place to be in the home and practice Krishna consciousness. So similarly, here, Puranjana also, the wife was very favorable. So he reached out, he seeked out his wife, of course, mother. So he seeked out the wife, telling, hey, where is my wife? See, I now have regained my consciousness back. I no longer, this sense objects, see, sense gratification does not give me happiness. Happiness is only got by doing shastric, by following shastric principles, injunctions. So where is that person who will guide me in that? But always he guided me, but my intelligence had gone wrong. Now I want the right intelligence. I want to take that association. So that is what he is seeking out. So again, coming back to Rupa Goswami's verse of Krishnanushilanam. That means the important Rupa Goswami uses the word Anushilanam. Very important verse, and it is very much related to this. Krishnanushilanam. Krishna means here is not, yes, he is Lord himself, but all the Lord's plenary expansions also. The avatars of Lord also. And all his paraphernalia also. And all his devotees also. Krishnanushilam, Anushilanam. Anu means according to the path laid down by previous Acharya. Anukarane, it is called. Anuchara means a follower who follows the disciplic succession as told by Guru Parampara. Sheelanam means cultivation. So cultivation means actually the activity. You have the knowledge. Now you have the instructions of spiritual master, or you have the instructions of devotees. You have the instruction of saintly persons. But just having a consciousness will not make you. You should act. So that is what Anushilanam is. Shilanam means you should act. You should perform. Kriya Shilate, it is called. That means Karya Shilate or Kriya Shilate. That means activity must be performed. So what activity should be performed? That is what intelligence tells. That is why Puranjana is seeking out the association of his wife. What are the activities? It should be performed to progress in spiritual life, to reach my destination, Vishnu, with devotional activities. What are those activities? So that is what here Puranjana is seeking out. Now has the consciousness. Now he has the willingness. He has trained his mind. Now what are the actions I should perform? That is what his wife is seeking out to guide. One, in this position, if you just seek or get shelter of a wrong person, like a Mayavadi, a monastic guru, or a cheating guru, then again you will fall down. So it should be right shastras, right injunctions of spiritual scriptures. You should take the shelter so that you will be guided in right path. Otherwise, you'll be guided in the wrong path and you'll again fall down. So here, the wife of Puranjana is compared to right intelligence. Intelligence endowed to steer in right dharma. So first thing is, you should leave out the spiritual, the sense enjoyment, the sense objects, the enjoyment that comes off a sense objects, that you should leave. And get yourself refreshed with the instructions of saintly persons. And then seek out right association, right wife, that is intelligence, to take you to the destination of devotional services by doing certain activities. By doing certain activities. That is what these two verses are. Narada Muni, when he explains these two verses, he's giving that via this allegory to Prachanidit. So again, coming back, how the practical application as Gruhasthas, most of us are Gruhasthas here. The practical application of these two verses are the mind, which is the warehouse of desires, should be observed from as a third party. You should observe what is this my mind full of. What is my mind feeling? What is my mind thinking? What is it willing? What are the desires that I have put in this mind? Then through these ISKCON activities, Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, association of devotees, reading Prabhupada books, you really get the conscious, hey, I need to go into the spiritual path. Then put the spiritual desires in the mind. See, mind is a warehouse. It is unlimited capacity. If you take the hard disk, it's not 1 TB, 2 TB, 3 TB. It is infinite TB. So it can contain. It is made by Lord himself. So it can contain the desire. So you should start putting the spiritual desires. Hey, I want to act in Krishna consciousness. I want to serve Krishna. I want to execute the order of Krishna. I want to think about Krishna. Start putting those. Then naturally, the spiritual desires will automatically dissolve the material desires. Then use your intelligence, another subtle body, using intelligence to perform the dharmic activities. To perform, the action needs to be performed. One is the desire you put in your mind, but the desire need to be acted upon. So devotional service, what are the activities I should perform? Hey, I should rise up and do Mangalarati. Okay, I should put a garland. I should make a garland to Lord. I should cook prasadam to the Lord. I should go and distribute books. I should arrange festival for the Lord. So kaya, vacha, manasa. These three should be put into action. Anushilanam. That means these should three: kaya, my body; vacha, my speech; manasa, my mind. All these things should be put into action by me. Action in Krishna consciousness, not in any other activity, not in sense enjoyment. Again, we'll go with that one. At Krishna consciousness, then we'll start progressing. So that is what is a practical application of this shloka. Okay, I think so. It's time. Okay, with this, I would like to end the class and take any questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for wonderful nectarian class. Now devotees can unmute themselves, ask any questions or comments, if any, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, I'm little confused now. You said the mind is the storehouse of desire. That is, it desires, it wills, and uses its intelligence to do all the work. And today morning Bhagavatam class, we read that the soul does not create any action and does not create any reactions. So what exactly does the soul do, Prabhu? What's the function of the soul or the living entity, Prabhu?
The function, only thing what soul can do in this material world is desire. That's all. It can
desire from the mind, no, Prabhu?
No, mind is a warehouse of desire. Mind is like almari. You put your clothes, but what clothes you put is what you decide as individual soul.
Oh.
So I desire to, for example, I have lot of desire to swim. I like swimming. So that goes and gets stored in the mind. Once you get, then you get the body of fish, you swim. So the act of, hey, I desire, I like swimming, is done by the soul. It is not done by the mind. Mind is just a warehouse of desires, that's all. Once in that body, mind just throws, hey, you had this desire, satisfy. Hey, you had the desire of eating flesh, go and satisfy this desire. Hey, you have the desire of swimming, go and satisfy that. You have the desire of seeing cinemas, go and satisfy. It will be throwing you what all desires you have got. It will not create desires. Mind will not create desires. It only throws the desire that you had desired and stored. Understood, Mataji? The desire is generated by the jiva.
Jiva, okay. Yes, Prabhuji, understood. So ultimately, jiva is responsible for the actions of the body. Prabhu?
Yeah, very much. Yes. Jiva is only responsible for the actions. So that's where in this shloka, so that's where Rupa Goswami says, Anushilanam, the actions of your body, mind, and kayana, vacha, and speech should be directed towards Krishna. If it is directed towards sense objects, then there's no use of this body, of human body.
Thanks, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Mataji.
Prabhu, you were just telling, no, Prabhu, you have a good wife and a good mother.
Hmm.
You have to take up sannyasa. But
Yes.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyasa. Is it to show us or like as a child, he was very naughty, no, Prabhu? Chaitanya, I mean, that is what the pastimes we hear.
Correct.
Yeah.
Here the context here is Prabhupada is clearly cautioning. Your question is two things: why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas and why we should not take sannyas. Okay, first is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord himself, and the purpose of his avatar or coming is to deliver very much fallen souls of this Kali Yuga. Okay, purpose of his avatar was not to remain in Grihastha and enjoy that life. The purpose of the avatar was to deliver the fallen souls to Sankirtana movement. And that was not possible by being a Grihastha. That is why he comes out. The cause, you should see the cause. The cause is very high, very, very significant cause. But an ordinary person just living the Grihastha life like that, even though the conditions are favorable, is not advised. So it is not, if everything is favorable, the mother is favorable, the wife is favorable, then there is no need. Prabhupada is telling me, you need not go. You to sit and practice at home because the condition is favorable. Then you will progress. Along with you, your children, your family, all you can take. Simply you coming here, taking sannyas, without, even though you had favorable conditions, you could not progress in Krishna conscious there, then what you will come and do in the forest? Again, you will fall down. You will get attracted. Many instances we can see in Bhagavata Purana only, how people get attracted and fall down. Take case of Bharat Maharaj, where he takes attraction to the deer. Take Chavana Muni, who gets attracted by seeing the daughter of the king. So all that. So when you have favorable conditions at home, practice at home, take along with the family and get delivered. Why Mahaprabhu took is, he had a mission to accomplish, to deliver the fallen souls. That was not possible being a Grihastha, because he had to travel all over India. So that being a Grihastha, you can't leave your wife like that without taking care of your family like that. That is not a sign of a good person, good Grihastha, right? That's why he took Grihastha, he left Grihastha life. The wife was handed over, went to the brothers or fathers and brother, under the care of the father and the brother. And mother was also under care of the village people there. And he left out for his mission. And he also acknowledged his mother's desire of staying near Jagannath Puri so she can hear the whereabouts. But the cause is very much great cause. It is not an ordinary cause. That is why Mahaprabhu took.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Any comments, questions? We have a few more minutes. Another 10 minutes more. Sankarshan Prabhu, go ahead here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandot Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna.
nice class, Prabhuji. One specific point that you said about observation of mind as a mind's activity as a third-party person is actually very nice point. Especially, I think this may come into prayer. This may become handy when we are doing chanting, right? That's the time mind get agitated and all type of it triggers all type of activities going for a worldwide trip.
Correct.
So I think we should just ignore that, observe, and then focus on our hearing of Maha Mantra. I think that point was a very nice point, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of in one of the I think so in one of the Japa workshops, what I heard is actually in the initial stages or even in some later stages also, you should actually write down what are those thoughts, desires coming in. Okay, as you put the spiritual desires in, the material desires comes out, and that is what the thoughts are. So you should write down how many thoughts you get. Then you should write a diary. That is what they had told in that workshop. Write diary how many thoughts came. Okay, in first chanting there are 500 thoughts. Next chanting there are 600 thoughts. Next, so then you keep the count of those thoughts and the nature of those thoughts. And then as you see, as you progress, they call it Japa diary. As you see, years pass by, your number of the thoughts coming in should have drastically reduced, and the nature also should have moved from mode of ignorance, passion to mode of goodness. That is what is a measure of sign of progress. If that is not happening, then you are doing a wrong way, the Japa. Then you need to go to your advanced devotee or senior devotees or spiritual master and train your Japa. Otherwise, it will not be there. So that's a good, what I thought was it was a good measure. So I have been not writing down, but I did practice when I did attend that Japa. That really helped. What kind of thoughts, what kind of desires excite me? What kind of desire that does not excite me, but these are compulsions? What kind of desire really passionate me? So all the things you can note down and steer in this way. So I recommend that is a good workshop to attend. Actually, Japa workshop, Japa diary they talk about. So it is very nice. So that is what that has been picked up from Prabhupada's purport here only, I think. So Prabhupada is telling, observe third party, feeling, willing, and what thinking the mind is. Thanks, Prabhu. Thanks for that comment.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the further explanation, Prabhuji. May I add one more point that you mentioned?
Sure,
Mahaprabhu Sannyasa Ashrama, Prabhuji.
Sure.
What I heard in another lecture is, on top of what you said, Prabhu, Mahaprabhu wanted to preach universally, and taking Sannyasa Dharma, in being in that Sannyasa Ashrama, will be able to attract all type of people, including Mayavadis and other Siddhantavadis, because sannyasis are respected everywhere. So that way he'll be able to preach universally, and that's why he accepted for a very higher cause. That's what I hear.
Yes, Prabhu. That's a good point. So if you're a Grihastha, they'll take very lightly, but if you're a sannyasi, you are respected. Very good point, Prabhu. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Maybe there is one more point also. I think what I heard is that generally, as Sankarshan Prabhu said, sannyasi comes, everybody pays obeisances.
Correct.
Irrespective of who is he, so just looking at the color of dress, they obeisance. Now he is being the Supreme Personality Godhead. Just somebody unknowingly pays obeisance, gets delivered. That's advantage for everybody in the society. That's why I think he also took that sannyasa.
Yeah. Very valid points, Prabhu. Thanks for your addition to that question. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any comments? Questions? Okay. If not, okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for very, very wonderful nectarian class today. Thank you. So
thank you, Prabhu.
We will end with the Vaishnava Pranama. Vancha
Kalpatarobhascha kripa sindhubhye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavembhyo namo Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada
Ki jai.
His Grace Suvinaya Nityananda Prabhu ki jai.
Nitai Gaura ki.
Mananda, Hari Hari.